for Donald Trump.
Even though he keep deporting y'all.
I will vote for Donald Trump.
He been snatching all y'all kids from y'all.
I will vote for Donald Trump.
He got white people kidnapping y'all.
And the 2025 F Around Find Out Song of the Year goes to Cubans for Trump.
Raise your hands, come on! Raise your hands!
What is this place? This is the land of the white man. We have to reclaim our land. White power! White power! White power! White power! White power! White power! Excuse me. Could somebody tell me where the exit is? You're dead meat.
Hey, Luis, ¿cómo está? You don't look too good, man. You want to ride? Well, Luis, I got some good news and I got some bad news. The good news is you're only 5 miles from East LA. The bad news is it's that way. Hey, relax, man. I know how to handle these people. Hey, listen up. Luis says the white man can kiss his ass. Make sure you tell him you're friends with Al Sharpton. Black power! Black power! Black power! You son of a bitch, you motherfucker! Oh, shit! Can't we all just get along?
Hello and welcome to another video. And in this video we're gonna be talking about Cubans for Trump. Yes, you hear me right. This is gonna be another good video of Cubans for Trump. And yes, and we started, you know me, so I like to always to start in a funny way. And I just found this clip from this movie that they transformed it to the Cubans for Trump. So this Latino guy, he gets in a convention for white supremacists, and he just he's just looking for the access door, and they sure show him the access door, and then this black guy comes along in his car, chilling and having no problem. and then he made the situation worse to him. But the thing is, he made that to himself, because he didn't have no need to be in that convention for white supremacists, but he was in there. And I feel like this is like a MAGA people, the Cubans, they go to these MAGA rallies with like white supremacist stuff. You in a MAGA rally, you just can be like, right by you can be like a white supremacist or a member of the KKK easily, because this president, the orange buffoon, is the first president that been endorsed by the KKK. So you just had to live with yourself for all your life that you just voted in the same way the members of the KKK voted for. And yes, stay towards the end, because this video is gonna be really interesting. Help us to support liberal media, subscribing to my channel, giving a like, and if you want to share this video with anybody else, just be welcome to share this video. Let's keep on rolling.
I'm a fan of calling it what it is. Yeah. Let's not sugarcoat shit. Let's say who it is. There's a video of Cuban females saying the only one who's going to help us is the black Americans, because they're the one who more power. And they said, "Oh, y'all." She's Cuban and she a porn star, and she literally said, "You Cubans need to be kissing black Americans' feet, because they're the only one got the power for civil rights to bring everybody up on their coattail."
But that's the thing that gets me, is like, people got to understand the philosophy behind a lot. When you say like the Venezuelans, the Cubans that come here, people really don't understand. A lot of them ain't even voting because of their pocket. They leave dictatorship countries, and that shit is still in their heads. And they literally sit here and they let Republicans gyp them with, oh, God is, it's all godly stuff and godly stuff. And they are indoctrinated
Christian
just like
nationalists.
enslaved people were.
Yeah.
To indoctrinated to that Christianity that's unhealthy and that milking them. And they would say, oh, we're going to vote because he gonna love us and he going to lead us, looking at him as a savior. He's trying to be. That's why he takes away everything and puts his name on top of it. And they tend to vote in a dictatorship mind.
Vote for Donald Trump. I love my freedom. I will vote for Donald Trump.
3 days later.
Tuesday morning, a Bolivian woman and her children taken into custody. Her Cuban husband telling reporters his wife and 2 children were taken, and the youngest, who is a year old, is American.
Please tell us what we need to legally do. We entered the country legally. We don't have problems. We are not delinquents.
They're taking workers away from their cities, and they will not be silent.
We're not criminals or anything. We're here legally.
Now he's vowing to get an attorney and fight for their release, and what he wants is support.
I want the Latin community to see this and give their support or help us.
I have always said that stupid people are the most dangerous people on this entire planet. I don't trust dumb people. I avoid stupid people like a ticking time bomb with no timer, because you're not sure when they're going to go off. You can guarantee they're going to go off. You just don't know when. Let me be very clear about this. Stupid has nothing to do with diplomas or degrees or jobs. I have met morons with Ivy League paper plastered all over their walls in frames who couldn't navigate a moral choice if you drew it for them on a map. Stupid people walk around through life oblivious to the damage they cause. They're the ones who vote against their own interests. They think they're always right, and that's the problem. That right there is the real poison. Because when you're stupid and you do things like vote against your own self-interests, you become the puppet, pulled by fear, pulled by propaganda, by whatever authority pats you on the head and says, you're doing a great job, vote for me. I would sooner sit next to a hateful, racist person than a stupid person. At least the racists know who they are. They're going to spew venom for sure, but there's a twisted kind of honesty to them. You know where you stand with them. You know exactly where the landmines are. With stupid people who vote against their own interests, you never know. They'll smile at you, they'll call you their friend, and they'll gladly set the room on fire with you in it, thinking they're helping. Stupid people are chaos wrapped in flesh. They will never truly know the harm they cause until it's too late. And that right there is the real problem.
Okay?
Huh? What? You say
what?
what?
When you pick a tomato from the farm.
No, I don't fucking farm a guy like you.
You say,
you marketing because you live in Florida, ¿no?
These are the Cubans that voted for Trump. They're fucking racist. They're hypocritical because himself, he came through the border. Illegally, he crossed over, but thankfully he had wet foot, dry foot. And then a year and 1 month later, he applied for his residency and he applied for the Cuban Adjustment Act that was given to him by Democrats. But then he goes ahead and he votes against his own interests. When right now you have Donald J. Trump taking away and deporting Cubans. And he's fine with that. Because he feels that he's superior than everybody else. He feels that he's a gringo. That he's accepted by the MAGA cult. But at the end of the day, if it were up to them, you wouldn't be in this country. You fucking piece of shit. And I'm sorry on behalf of the Cubans that are like this. Truly am. All right? But not all Cubans are like this. I just want you guys to know that. But the ones that voted for Trump, unfortunately, yes, they're like this. Let's go show him how you guys feel about this. His username is Otto Bagadi on TikTok. His name is Ariel Medina. Go figure, Ariel. Let's go say hi to Ariel. Take care.
And this is how Cubans act. I told you a story a long time ago about my brother. I think it happens maybe 30 years ago when he was denied for his application to an apartment just when they find out that he was black. And it was in Hialeah. It was this big community that is just all Cubans. So my sister-in-law went to apply, and she's blonde. She's just white. She just looks like a white American. She's really blonde. She's really white. And then when the lady that was the owner of the apartment, she find out that she was married to my brother, and my brother was black. She just say, "Oh, I just rented the apartment. I just rented it." I rented it like 5 minutes ago. I'm sorry that I made you to waste your time. But yes, this is the kind of crap the Cubans do, or they say. Do you see how this guy is saying, oh, to the Mexicans, you just need to go, you just a wet bag. You need to go and pick up tomatoes in the farm. It's like they do this to the Latino community too, and they do this to black people too. They just go both way, all full on racist. And also this guy, because they just believe that they are white. They truly believe that they are white, and they are white. It's just they are not white from here, from the United States. So they just having their wake up call. They're just having their wake up call with the things that they believe and how they just discriminating and treating people. And I cannot even believe the guy that the wife is getting deported. He's just going like, oh, I want the Latino community to support me. I don't think the Mexicans are gonna get behind that, because it's just this fight against Mexicans and Cuban that is just like, I will explain that. I have few videos in here that will explain that rivalry between Mexicans and Cuban. Just keep on watching.
The family of a South Florida parolee is trying to fight it, saying that he was allowed into the U.S. legally. Local 10's Christian De La Rosa live now with our exclusive tonight. Christian.
It's a story that's becoming more and more common. Immigrants that are here under the parole program are showing up to immigration courts and DHS offices like this one in downtown Miami, and they're not coming back out. It's what happened to this Cuban man who does not have a criminal record and has been ripped away from his family. Elena's face says it all. She just got a call from her husband and father to her baby boy. Ariel Lara Gonzalez is in ICE detention in Texas.
Es una locura.
Like tens of thousands of others, the Cuban couple entered the U.S. under the Biden administration's parole program. 2 weeks ago, in Miami, Lara Gonzalez went to what he thought would be an interview to apply for residency, but instead, ICE agents took him into custody.
This government has to detain 3,000 people every day.
Immigration attorney Wilfredo Allen is representing Lara Gonzalez.
In the last 20 years, I have never seen so many people so afraid. I have never seen lawyers concerned about, can we be targeted?
As the Trump administration ramps up the number of detentions to meet its deportation goals, Allen says Cubans in the U.S. with parole can still apply for protection under the Cuban Adjustment Act. But he fears even then, many will fall through the cracks. From ICE detention, Lara Gonzalez tells us he remembers hearing Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying this new administration would have the back of the Cuban people. He feels differently now.
No es fácil, mijo.
His grandmother telling us her biggest fear is he'll be sent back to Cuba, where he is registered as an anti-government activist. So Cubans do have recourse. They can apply for this law that will offer some form of protection, the Cuban Adjustment Act, when it comes to Haitians, Venezuelans, and Nicaraguans that are here under the parole program. The attorney we spoke to says they must lawyer up, they must get informed, and apply for asylum as soon as possible. Live in downtown Miami, I'm Chris.
And this is the thing. It doesn't have to be this way. And when you talk to Cubans, they say, oh, but you know, the president, they deported more people in the United States, it was Obama. And that's true. That's true. We will not deny the truth. That's true. He was the one that deported more people. Yes, but it was in a period of 4 years too. And at the same time, he never violated human rights for the people that was being deported. He never just deported people without due process. He never had the ICE agents waiting outside the court to deport people where the cases were approved. So this is the part. This is the part. Some people that is going to court for their cases, their asylum cases, and the cases are being approved, and ICE is waiting outside to take them to detention sentence and deport them, even where the cases are being approved. So they are not following the law. They are not following the court system. They are being irrespectful to the judge, to the point that the judge have to say, okay, don't go through this door, go to that other door, because if you go through this door, ICE agents can arrest you, and if you go through this door, if possible, they will not arrest you. This is just crazy. It is crazy.
La Fefa Cubano. It's not that these fuckers didn't think the leopards would eat their face. They thought they were fucking leopards. That red wave that went through Florida, you could ride that bitch all the way back to Cuba. We tried to fucking tell you. I don't understand. Folks from Cuba that want to avoid an authoritative communistic regime like Castro somehow gravitate to the fucking Republicans. Look at these fucking assholes down here. Look at these flags on this fucking boat. You think that Trump in any way is going to help anyone that's not white? Cubans aren't light enough. To Trump and the people in power, you're nothing but la cucarachas.
White mediocrity is trying to pop off today. But that's not what we're talking about. I'm going to talk about the fucking morons who help white mediocrity pop off today. Hey, Cubans for Trump. You're going to deport all you fucking Cubans who thought you had rights here because your skin was light. Yeah, that's what it is. See, if you have dark skin, light-skinned Latinos think that they're better than you. No, you're not. You're one of us. But here it is. You were so stupid that when white billionaires told you that Barack Obama was Fidel Castro, you believed them. When they told you that Hillary was Fidel Castro, you believed them. When they told you that fucking Kamala was going to be worse than Fidel Castro, you believed him. And you know what happened? White mediocrity won. And it's your fault. So I hope you all get fucking deported and there's no Cubans in Miami and we can start over. Have the fucking 4 years you deserve, pendejos.
Yes, Cubans are getting deported, but they are not getting deported back to Cuba. And these are not the Cubans who have entered the United States in the last few years. These are Cubans who have been in the U.S. since the 1960s, 70s, 80s, and at one point they were even lawful permanent residents. But because of their criminal history, they lost their immigration status and were ordered deported. But because of the political situation between the United States and Cuba, they were actually never deported to Cuba. And instead, they were placed on what's called order of supervision, where they typically go once a year for a quote-unquote check-in, and they meet with an ICE officer, and the ICE officer makes sure that they don't have any other crimes going on, and they're abiding by the terms of their check-in, and they're able to apply for a work authorization. Since Cubans were not accepted by Cuba to be deported, they have remained in the United States for decades under the order of supervision. But now, since the Trump administration is pushing hard this third country removals, Cubans are now being deported to various locations, including Mexico. You're seeing Cubans go to their ICE OSUP check-in appointment and be detained, and they're spending a few weeks in Chrome and then being transferred over to Texas. And then from Texas, they're being placed on a bus and then deported to the southern part of Mexico. Shame, because I think if ICE had told them what the plan was, these people could at least prepare for it. But sadly, they have absolutely no idea that this is even coming to them. And now they've been in the U.S. for 50, 60 years with relatives and businesses and families and ties to the U.S. and just being dropped off in another country with no ID, no money, and no resources.
Almost 50,000 Cubans from the Miami area in Florida are facing deportations. That's because thousands of those Cubans filed for political asylum and were granted political asylum, except they went back and visited their homeland of Cuba. Well, the big deal is that when you file for political asylum, you're declaring that your life is in danger in your home country. And by these Cubans going back to Cuba to visit, that means that the entire process of the political asylum was fraud. The application asked for political asylum seekers to give detail of why they can't go back to their country, why their lives are in danger in their homeland. And Cubans gave those statements that their life was in danger if they ever went back to Cuba. So going back to visit Cuba after you've been granted political asylum indicates that these Cubans have been granted political asylum based on false information. Now, it's no secret, Cubans played a huge role on the re-election of Donald Trump. And a lot of them feel let down by this administration because now they're being sent back home. So I'm going to ask all the Latino community, and I will do the same, to please hold a moment of silence for the thousands of Cubans who now are going to be forced to go back to the island. So anyway,
there's a girl and her going viral because her dad got deported and she voted for Trump. She's Cuban. I want to explain for the younger white people why she voted Trump. Cubans are mostly Republican. This is for a few reasons. One, until President Obama was in office, Cubans could not be illegal in America. We had a policy that if they could swim over here, they could stay. That's because we were largely anti-communist, and because the people who fled Cuba were the ones who did not like communism, it's the right-wing Cubans who left. Then they landed in South Florida where everybody's fucking rich and opulent and spending money. And they're like, haha, this is great. Of course they are Republicans still. Because they couldn't be deported. And there's a lot of issues between the Cubans and the Mexicans. Because the Cubans would kind of like talk shit to the Mexicans like, why are you here illegally? And the Mexican would be like, the fuck do you mean? I got here the same way you did. They just made a law that made it okay for Cubans. Cubans are like, yeah, it's because they like us. And Cubans are usually have lighter skin, so it's a whole thing. But anyway, Obama made them illegal. And so I guess that didn't turn them left either. But they didn't really think that way.
You as human.
I'm sorry. Did she say ham croquettes for breakfast? Y'all supposed to have special status eating like that?
It's always been about racism. Here's the part that we like to talk about in our homes when no one else is listening, but I'm going to go ahead and say the quiet part out loud. You all think that you are better than every other type of Latino American. Conservative Cuban Americans, MAGA Cuban Americans, think that you are better than every other flavor of Latino American. And now we have proof. You are no different. We are no better than anybody else. No matter how many times you place your vote for Donald Trump and the Republican Party, they are still going to see you as subhuman.
Now, we have seen this energy before when it came to others in the Latino community addressing the Cubans specifically as the top ops. We have been around here before. And the thing about that energy, when you put it out, it comes back around tenfold when your pick-me behavior comes home to roost. And pick-me behavior always comes home to roost.
Amelia, did y'all hear about this? Cubanos that have historically supported the Republican Party and have been pretty outspoken about supporting Trump are now more vulnerable than ever. But let's talk about this. For many decades, people that had left Cuba came to the United States and were protected from deportations. Their anti-Castro, anti-communist perspective, anti-socialist, aligned very well with the Republican Party, and they embraced that identity when they arrived to places like Florida. But under the current administration, many protections that existed have been revoked, and many people in that community are facing fear and uncertainty about what's going to happen next. Honestamente, I know for many folks it's going to be hard to feel bad because in many ways they were asking for this for other communities, and it makes sense that they feel betrayed because they were supporting this, not expecting it to affect them. Let me add one more thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop you there, player. No, I'm gonna have to stop you there, player, because they saw exactly how the administration was moving, and as you yourself seated, they were expecting it to affect other communities but not them. So why do you have the right to feel betrayed when you wanted to have other folks be rated? You didn't have a problem when other folks had their very legitimate legality and status in this country questioned and publicly wiped away by folks running to occupy the White House. That was okay. So you saw all of that and you were fine with the state of play. They gave you all of the information. That ain't a betrayal. That's just karma. And by the way, that is exactly how pick-me behavior ends. Every time.
Let me add one more thing. Cuban exiles in the United States are not a monolith, so of course not all of them were pro-deportation, but the ones that were happen to be the louder voices. I know many people in the community that have been talking about this aren't going to feel any sympathy, essentially saying they effed around and found out. I, for one, think it's sad. The idea of people losing their livelihood and being deported is just inhumane.
Now, I do happen to agree with you on that point. I can simultaneously reflect on the unbelievable irony that befalls so many Cubans for Trump, and also object to the way that they're handling their business and the inhumane treatment of a great number of people. And I also see that not everybody asked for this. But on that point of betrayal, because you mentioned betrayal, right? They feel betrayed. So how exactly should the Latinos that didn't vote for this feel? How should the Cubans that didn't vote for this feel? How should the Haitians feel? How about this? How should other citizens, myself included, of this country feel when we have our rights and our freedoms challenged and limited by virtue?
My wife is Latina, and trust me when I say this, she will be on the Republican side with all the other Cubans. Their giveaway. Their giveaway. But let's keep reading. Fighting against communism. She said her family watched this happen in Cuba. It's okay. We know about Cubans. You can keep her and all the other cowards that are going to fight with you. Cubans are not very reliable for the Civil War because they ran away from Castro like the cowards they are. And, you know, they couldn't defend anything there. They couldn't defend their freedom in their own country, so why would they defend it in a country that's not even theirs? What I suggest is you take all of them that are going to fight with you, the 76% that vote for Trump, and have them serving like pan con lechon and water. See how that helps you out. Que tenga fuerte ya.
And yes, it seems like Cubans and Venezuela, they know what dictatorship look like, and they just keep voting. I cannot make sense of it. I cannot make sense of it. How can you vote and you put in this country a dictator here? You already put a dictator over there, and you just make your country a shithole. And then you just come to the United States and you just keep voting for dictators. I cannot even freaking believe it. I cannot even freaking believe it. I just cannot believe it. And more the Venezuelans, because the Venezuelans is like recently, like some of these people that is here voting for Donald Trump, they voted in Venezuela for Chavez 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So they know how dictatorships look like. Let me tell you about Chavez. When he got into power, first he was pursued by the law, so he went to jail. Okay, he was just a convicted felon. He was the same like Donald Trump. He was a convicted felon. He was a criminal too. So he was running for his freedom practically. And on the top of that, dictators have to put some kind of division on it. So they had to just put like, in the case of Chavez, it was rich against the poor. But he will say, the country, the poor people is always gonna be poor in this country. They don't have no opportunities. And he was a product of people in the country having opportunity because he came from a really, really poor family. So his mom was really poor, and then she became a teacher, and then she had better opportunities for her kids. So I couldn't never understand that, how he will just say like the poor people doesn't have no opportunities in this country. If you are an example of poor people, they have opportunities in the country because you were poor and you are the president. It's like, it helps to make sense. It didn't make sense to me at that time. It doesn't make sense to me now, but yes, Venezuelans are coming here and voting for dictators, and Cubans too. And this is like, I just cannot, I cannot, it's just like, I'm puzzled.
I will vote. Arriba. I will vote for Donald Trump.
You sure about that? Okay. Let me know how it turns out for you.
We just made it towards the end of this video, and yes, it seems like DT, the orange buffon, the brujeria to the people. You know what is brujeria? Brujeria is a terminology, it's the word for witchcraft. Okay, it seems like the orange buffon, the brujeria to the MAGA people and to the Cubans, because even when you see the deportations happening, and when you see people getting deported and being under a system full of cruelty. Oh, I had to talk about alligator Alcatraz again. That maybe can be the next video that I'm gonna do. I had to talk about that because it's things. You remember that I did a video, the alligator Alcatraz, and I told you that I was really worried for the alligator Alcatraz. It will come some kind of disease coming from that place. Just because it's just the perfect lab to just get diseases in there. First, it's super hot. Then it doesn't have no ventilation. Then people is not showering. There is no proper sanitation. Then so it's just like the perfect lab for new viruses. For new kind of viruses, for new kind of illness, because yes, you can be in those conditions. You can be in a hot weather condition, but you have ventilation. No, this place doesn't have no ventilation. People is not eating properly. Okay, so people in there is malnourished too. So it's just the perfect lab for get. But I'm gonna make another video, and I'm gonna talk about alligator Alcatraz and all the things that are happening. But I just have to talk about this because this is just happening, and the press been reporting on this. That is just like the perfect conditions for another virus, another coronavirus to happen and spread in the population. And because I don't trust the orange buffon to handle any kind of health situation, we are screwed. We are screwed. They need to get those people out of there, but as soon as possible, because if something happened in there, that it had to be with viruses and illness, I just cannot. I just don't trust him handling any kind of crisis. They had to be with health. And yes, we just make it towards the end of this video. Please don't forget giving a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps my channel to grow, and it helps other people to find my content and my video. Of course, like I always tell you, help us to support liberal media. Help me to get some coffee going. Most of the time I get the Starbucks or I get my local coffee shop, but I do have this time, I have my regular coffee made at home, and that's gonna help me to get through the editing of this video, because you guys, I don't know if you see it, but it's a lot of editing that it goes to this video. It's more the recording. The editing is the part that is the hardest. So guys, take care. Thank you. Appreciate you. I love you too. I love when you guys put me in the comments, I love you, Jenny, and I love you too. Please take care. Bye bye.